Peace. I'd like to take a moment to welcome all of you to the first annual Growth and Development Conference here in Region 5, Sudan. My name is Saladin La. I'm one of the local Region 6 representatives here in Atlantis, which is Niagara Falls, New York, or Western New York. And again, I want to welcome all of you to the conference. I was supposed to be out there and do a workshop on community building. I wasn't able to make it. For those of you who've been keeping track of my activities that I've been doing online, you know that I'm running for public office right now. I'm gearing myself up for this general election. I'm actually on the ballot, and I created a party line called the Niagara Youth Party, which I'm running on primarily. I got the Working Families endorsement by winning the primary election for that party line, and then I'm also endorsed by the Green Party. So this job has been 25/8, not 24/7. So I apologize, wasn't able to make it, but what I did do is I'm sharing this video with those of you who are attending the conference, and then after the video I'll be calling in live so that those of you who want to follow up on some of the things I mentioned in this video, you have a chance to just ask me some of those questions while I'm locally here in Western New York. The first thing that I wanted to emphasize when it comes to community building is that it's important to realize that community building starts with three basic principles, like everything in the science of life does. Excuse me. And that's knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Knowledge being awareness or consciousness. The first thing that we need to do in regards to any form of community building is to first be aware of the resources and the programs and projects and initiatives that are available in our community. Whether they're secular or religious, we need to know, what institution is offering this program for seniors, what recreation center has this going on for youth, do they have anything going on for people who are disabled, do they have any women-orientated projects going on, do they have anything for people who are dealing with forms of addiction. We got to find out what the resources are available in our community. Also, where the food banks at. Also, where do they have clothes closets at, where they donate clothes and everything. So it's important to find out what is actually available in our community. That's number one. So taking that step, as far as knowledge is concerned, it's not, some people, when they think of community building, they think of charging out into the community and telling people stuff that they didn't even ask to hear. So that's why I emphasize knowledge being the foundation, because it's to stop, look, listen, observe, and respect what's actually going on in the community at this present time. Once you could really assess the projects, programs, and initiatives that are in the community, the next step is wisdom. Wisdom is right discernment and is right judgment. So the next step is to take action, which means once you've identified areas in your community, now you gotta be a volunteer, which means if you find a place that has a food bank, go to the place and ask them, you're looking to volunteer, how could you help out? And for the most part, people are not gonna turn down free help, so that's how you begin to plug yourself in to the resources and the things that are the networks that are involved in community building. You assess what's available, and once you assess what is available, you determine how you can assist as a volunteer. One thing that I have to emphasize with that is once you take the step and the initiative to volunteer, it has to be consistent. Let me say that again. If you're going to volunteer, then you need to be consistent. So if you're already working a full-time job, find out what hours or hour per week that you can allocate towards volunteering, and do that consistently on that day that you say you're going to volunteer. When I first started out doing a lot of community building, I went to a local recreation center that I had worked at previously in high school as an after-school program and a summer camp counselor. I went there, talked to the director, And then I told the director that I was interested in coming in and just doing a youth mentorship program after school for some of the youth. And I determined that I can make it every Wednesday for a couple of hours, and I did that consistently for a whole year. While I'm doing this consistently for a whole year, I also simultaneously begin to attend different community functions and forums, as well as projects and programs where I can get in contact with the people who were working in different institutions, organizations, whether they were secular or religious. And then when you get into that type of environment, you can start networking with people. So then when people ask you that famous question, hey, what do? You can say, well, I volunteer at this organization over here. I've been doing it for so many years, consistently teaching the youth this, that, and the third. So now you have something to offer and bring to the table. Now people can begin to see the true value in you as a person that's a community builder. So once I started to do that and develop these networks with people who are a part of this organization or a part of that institution or a part of this club, they begin to reach out to me to do workshops. They begin to offer me positions to come in as a camp counselor or a director of this program or this after school program. And then they also at times offered me grants to design my own youth mentorship programs. All of this started from just volunteering. You know, when I was coming in volunteering, I didn't come in with the attitude that I'm the 5%er and I'm going to convert all of these 85%, you know, because you are 5%, because that is your culture and your way of life. You don't have to necessarily broadcast that or wear that on your shirt. But, you know, you just become involved. So, like I said, the first step is to find out what is available in your community. Once you find out what is available in your community, now you plug yourself in. You find out how you can volunteer and in what particular capacity you can volunteer. This is not about converting anybody. It's not about being missionaries. It's not about going in trying to tell people about supreme mathematics or who the Father is. It's just going to volunteer and assist, period. If you find a certain organization and they tell you that, you know, they're having problem with, you know, the garbage being taken out on a consistent basis, you just go there and change the garbage. That's all. Now, over time, because you're plugged in now, you begin to develop a relationship with the people of that organization. Now people can have the opportunity to really find out the nuts and bolts of who you actually are as a person. You know, so with me going to this one recreation center and starting off volunteering there, that parlayed into a lot of other opportunities for me. And those opportunities created teachable moments for me to share other different aspects of how I live in this way of life, which means some people, because I've saw their aptitude and the proper attitude, I was able to share with them certain things about, well, you know, supreme mathematics in that context. Other people, I may just tell them, you know, you got to be aware first. You know, so taking it from the knowledge to the wisdom, then you get to the point where you can have the best part. And the best part is you begin to really understand and do a needs assessment and see how you can ultimately assist others, because now you're there. For example, there was a brother who had got knowledge of self when he was in injustice, and he got in contact with me while he was in there because I distribute a lot of my literature to correctional facilities around the country. So a lot of the gods and the earths know of me in various different correctional facilities around the country. That's how he got in contact with me. So once he got out, he immediately connected with me, and he was kind of under my wing to get some guidance and direction on how to start setting up ciphers in the city that he was resting in, and being the basic local representative there. So I put him in contact with some of the older guys that I came up with in that area. And he started to organize civilization classes. Now, the first thing I told him is the same thing I'm telling all of you. Find out what's available in your community first. Once you're able to find out what's available in your community, especially if it's a recreation center or any institution that has available space, go there as a volunteer, not as someone that's coming in saying, I want to just do civilization classes. A lot of times people don't even know who you are. So sometimes people are on guard in the sense where it's like, I don't even know what your intentions are, what your determined idea is. So you have to develop a rapport or a relationship with the people in your community if you haven't been involved in that community to begin with. So I told them, once you go to that recreation center that you find in your community, just come in as a volunteer. Same thing I'm telling all of you. Over time, developing a relationship with the director and the administration and the youth that they're serving, eventually you can find out the availability of certain spaces in there that you're volunteering, and then that's how you negotiate a space for holding civilization classes. You just let them know that, you know, over time and being consistent as far as volunteering, you just let them know that you're interested in just having classes that's teaching growth and development to some of the local people in the community, maybe the youth in particular, and you just wanted to know if they had a certain amount of time that you could do that. Now, because you've already been doing it, acting in the capacity of a volunteer, for the most part, people who are the administration or the directors of those type of institutions, they're not going to sit there and want to charge you to use no space. You know what I'm saying? So I told him to do that. Did he follow my advice? No. So what he did is he found a recreation center, went there, talked to the director, and told the director that he wants to hold classes there and how much does he want to charge him to rent out a space. Now, mind you, this person just got out of the injustice. He does not have a job at all. So he's putting the cart before the horse, because now he locked himself into a contract to pay for a room that he doesn't even have the money for. So it's kind of like that knowledge cipher degree in the 1 to 40s as far as search for that does not exist. So obviously over time, he had a few classes I attended and other people in the area attended, but obviously over time he stopped having the classes altogether and was complaining about not being able to come up with the money to reserve the room. Willfully, he learned a lesson in that. Now, in my city of Atlantis, I was also holding civilization classes, and I was doing them out of the local library because I use that facility a lot. It's a public facility, so you don't have to pay for reserving the room. You just have to reserve the room because it's free to the public. So I was holding my classes there, right? And there's a brother that was attending the classes over a period of time, and I gave him the same advice. You know, if you want to get involved in the community and do community building, do the knowledge first. Find out what's available in the community. Once you're able to find out what's available in the community, you go to that institution or that organization and ask how you can volunteer. So he did that. He found the local Boys and Girls Club. He went there, talked to the director that I told him to get in contact with. And he went in as a volunteer doing homework help for some of the youth. In less than 30 days of him consistently going there at least once a week, they offered him a full-time job on the spot. So he came back to me excited and stuff, like, thank you, I appreciate it, this and the third. And I was telling him, like, you know, I've had experience in this, so I know how it goes. So when you take it from the knowledge into the wisdom, then you get to the part where you can have the understanding, which is the best part. And the understanding is now, because you've developed the rapport, because you've been consistently involved in whatever projects, programs, or initiatives that are going on in your community, now you have the relationship to the point where you can really get to share some of the things that you had a determined idea to share to begin with. So like I said, one thing that I did is, once I got myself rooted in some of these programs or projects or initiatives in my community, I started to network. And in networking with people, now I had a platform to speak on based upon the contributions that I was already making. People started to offer me opportunities. So now once people begin to offer me opportunities, I begin to define my determined idea on my own terms, meaning I had the opportunity to create my life after school program, where Because these were non-for-profit organizations, I was able to operate under the umbrella of these non-for-profit organizations. When I'm saying by operate under the umbrella is when you have institutions that have been established in your community for some time, whether they're secular or non-secular, churches or whether they're not churches or any other type of religious institutions, they usually have 501c3 status. They usually have tax exempt status. Now, because they're tax exempt, they can qualify for certain type of grants from the government or from other organizations because they are tax exempt. Now, because I was under the umbrella of some of these organizations, a lot of times the grants, they would fill out for grants for me. And once they would fill out for grants for me and the money would come through, they would give me the money to do what I wanted with it. You know, I was ordering, you know, Behold a Pale Horse and some of Supreme Understanding books and things like that in order to assist the youth that were in my mentorship program. So again, it's just a simple process of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And once you get to that point of understanding where you can see things for what they are, not just simply what they appear to be, you know, now you can really start to show and prove and share some of the things that you had a determined idea to share to begin with. You know, I had an experience one time where I was teaching the youth mentorship program for probably about a couple years or something like that, right? And I brought in a younger brother who was probably about half my age, and I had him in assisting with the younger youth in my program. And I had my Supreme Mathematics posted on the wall, you know, not like a big giant billboard sign, but you know, I had it posted on the wall in a place where if you came in, you had to see it, right? I had my alphabets up there as well, and then I had my room, you know, decorated with a lot of other different things. And I was always teaching the culture in a fine mist which the naked eye can hardly detect. Not because I was hiding anything, it's because I've always learned, and this is what I learned through my family tree and how I live this culture out, is that you find out who is a said person of that ability before you're able to share with them this culture in a formal context. What I mean by that is, I've never been the type of person to give mathematics or alphabets off like I'm hitting licks in the street. Never, because for the most part, sometimes people haven't even asked for it. They didn't come to you. You don't even know what their level of growth and development is, or you haven't even done a needs assessment on them, but you're going telling them what they need. You know, granted, 85% we have a general description of who they are and what their needs generally are, but people are very sophisticated. You know, people have various different levels of their growth and development, and unless you really have a relationship with somebody and you can do a thorough needs assessment of where they're actually at, you don't necessarily know what you can share with them. Sometimes you may not even be qualified to share anything with them. You have to just refer them to somebody else. You know, sometimes you may have known somebody for 3 or 4 years and they may not know that you are part of the nation, gods and earth, so that you live this culture. All they know about you is that you're a good woman. You're a good guy. You know, some of us get a little egotistical about it and we think that everybody needs to know that we are personally the God or the earth. No. You know, what's most important is the needs that you can serve for that particular person, whatever that need is. You know, some people, they may not know how to just articulate things well, and that may be what you need to share with them, not tell them about the Father or about anything else. You just may need to assist them with the proper way to articulate themselves and to express their ideas. That is all. You may have known them for 10 years, and that is the need that you serve to them. You know, other people, they may just need for you to teach them how to fill out a job application. And that's what you need to share with them, but you won't know what they need unless you do a needs assessment. So in the whole process of community building, it's not about charging out into the community and telling others what they're going to do or what you're going to share with them. It's more of a process of being aware of what's going on. Once you find out what's going on, you just go and help out where you can help out on a consistent basis. As you help out where you can help out on a consistent basis, and you start to develop the relationship and the rapport with the people in your community, now they have an opportunity to really get to know you. You know, you may be somewhere changing garbages for 6 months, where people may just know you as a person that comes in and changes the garbages. Eventually somebody's going to start asking you questions. You know, eventually somebody may say, hey man, I got, something that, hey, you want to have some of this? I brought this in, would you like a piece of this? Depending upon what it is, you may say, oh, no, thank you. I don't eat that. Or no, you may not say all of that, but you may just say something like, well, oh, no, thank you. And they may say, why don't you eat it? Nah, that's a teachable moment. And I'm not saying that you pull out how to eat the live out of your back pocket and slap it on the table and start telling them about that. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying you have to put yourself in the place. Once you put yourself in the place, now people have an association with the face. Once they have an association with the face, now you have an opportunity to really teach people about some of the things that you can actually offer them once you do a needs assessment. So in closing, I like to just emphasize those 3 key points again: knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. First, go out and get a sense of awareness of what's available in your community. What projects, what programs, and what initiatives. Once you get a good assessment of that, you need to plug yourself in as a volunteer. Plugging yourself in as a volunteer means that you go there and you get in where you fit in. If that means you can go and change garbages once a week, do that. That's all. If it means to go and do homework help, do that. If it means to go and help serve seniors, go do that. But do it consistently. As you're doing it consistently, now you can develop a relationship with people, which takes you to the understanding of the best part. Because now people can really get a chance to see you in your fullest dimensions, because that's like understanding, 3 dimensions. They can see you in your fullest dimensions, and now you can really offer a lot of the things that you can offer to the people in those environments, because now you're plugged in. Now you're developing the networks, and that's all basically what community building comes down to. So this was inspiring, it was empowering, it was educating for those of you who want to know how you can become more of a community builder. And peace. Enjoy the rest of the conference.